What's up, everybody? So where we left off from last video, we were working on the hips for the bed. Got to a really good point. Still trying to find, all the high spots and low spots. This is the first coat of sealer. Had a lot of little nicks and dings that I missed. I'm not going to catch them all. I already know that. So, I aim to try to catch them all, but I know I'm not going to catch them all. So this is the next day. Took a break, massaged it some more, got the body hammers out, started massaging the metal more, sanded everything back down because that's kind of boring for y'all to watch again, resealed it. I think I got a lot closer to this being almost perfect. So still have like a little chips and pinholes there, especially from like filling in the hole on that fender. I couldn't even tell you. I think it's this one that I was working on before, where I had to fill the hole in. You can't even tell it's there, so I feel like I did a good job there. This entire upper half was like so wavy. It was just, I needed like an English wheel, a large, wide English wheel to straighten that out, which I don't have. But I did the best I could with some body hammers, some door panel hammers and whatnot. And use some light filler and spot putty where needed. Up here, I didn't see. There's a couple little dings up here that I just can't see. So it's just almost next to impossible. I'm pretty sure everybody else, if you're a painter, body guy, somewhere else, everybody has their own methods to how they, work and do things. So one of my methods, just to help me speed up the process, to find stuff that I missed, is just to paint the panel. So this is a surprise. Was the surprise that I mentioned in the previous video. This is the actual color that the truck's going to be. So there you go. For the people wondering what color it's going to be. I don't think that needs to be like a cliffhanger or anything like that. But my method is to just paint the panel and all the little imperfections and pit holes and weird textures, uneven textures that you'll find way after the fact, stuff that you learn when you first start painting. And it gets really expensive that way. So you kind of just prepare and get this out the way early. It also makes a good base coat by spraying clear onto the panel. It'll fill in all the little pinholes and whatnot. Downside is you got to start over like it's a brand new panel. Color sand it back down. Get it to about 500-600 grit, maybe 400 grit. And then you will have a good working surface. So it'll fill in little light dings, etc. I'm trying not to over-explain this, but you get the point. So spray color. You'll find a lot of imperfections that you missed. Then you spray the clear. It'll fill. Okay, so I'm hoping that this is my final lap of doing these fenders again. So this is where I'm at. I've already sprayed sealer. I'm about to wet sand this last coat of sealer. These are all the spots that I found on like the 5th go around. So everything else is looking pretty good. Everything's looking pretty straight for the most part. You can't even tell where the patch job was. That's gone. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to wet sand these spots, wipe it back down, and I'm going to open up the second can of paint that I have because that's going to be my final rendition of what I'm doing. So just a note, the tip, if you were watching the channel and you're like, oh, I've got 2 cans of paint, I got 2 gallons of paint, and this is basically the first gallon of paint is what you're working with to find your imperfections, get everything built up, get a good base coat on whatever you're painting. And if you have to go to a second can, make sure that second can is the last top coat, because that's going to be the final color of the vehicle. So if you're painting with the first can, and then you finish and you start working your way through to the second can, well, guess what? It's a high possibility that something's not gonna match because you paint it from two different cans, and you've got, you know, parts like, you know, the cab will be a different color, this will be a different color, and you'll be able to tell pretty easily once the sun hits it. So I'm gonna open up my second can of paint, get it stirred up, get it ready for spraying, and then yeah, we're gonna spray the second can. So I'm just gonna get after it. She's wet sanded, so all of that done by hand, 600 grit. Both sides are equally the same. Take a towel, wipe her down. And yes, you have to respray the entire panel. That's just what that is. So I'm gonna hand wipe this down, hand wet sand, hand wipe, hand everything, tennis elbow, you know, you play tennis. I'll show you what the back of the fenders are looking like. And out the way, zoomed out. So all of this super clean. Well, she ain't super clean, but she will be. So I'm wiping it down with the same towel I used to dip in the bucket. And then I'm gonna grab a fresh, clean microfiber, wipe it down with some fresh water. No detergent, no nothing, to make sure that I don't get any crazy reactions out of the material. Right now what I'm doing is wiping the bulk of the crud off from wet sanding these spots. And I think I'm gonna call it good. So all of the paint has something to bite to. And I'll do the other side. All right, I'm gonna get my clean towel. And I say clean. Clean. It has to be a clean towel. You can't come in here with stuff that you, oh, it's clean, it's good enough. No, it needs to be brand new. It's cheaper than sandpaper, so it's worth the purchase. Then you wind up with a bunch of extra towels to do certain things down the road. So it's not like it's something that's gonna hurt you. It's actually gonna help you. So now I'm gonna get some balls of tape. Set in here like that. And I'll put my balls of tape in there just to keep everything spread out and make sure I get some good coverage inside these gaps. But right now, and yes, like I said, I work in crops, man. I work in anything. I mean, sometimes you think you can get away with doing something in like some fresh, clean clothes, and it turns into work clothes. That's kind of what happened. You know, these are my Burlington Coat Factory Crocs, and then I spilled sealer all over them. And yeah, pretty much. That's what happened. All right. I'm gonna get my clean towel because I'm gonna keep wiping this stuff, and I'm gonna keep seeing residue like that because I'm using a dirty towel. So I'm gonna take my fresh, clean one, go put some regular water on it, wipe it down, and we'll spray a base coat of the first can to cover up those spots and these spots. Then we'll open up the second can and spray our final color. Fingers crossed that we don't have any gigantic things that stick out. I'm not too worried about the small little super dings. I know there's a few small super little dings on this thing that, I'll be honest, it's not worth, I won't say it's not worth fixing, but to go through and start that process over right now, versus how much material. These fenders took like a lot of material. It took a lot of the first gallon of paint just to get these done. So I'll post a picture or something to show you what they look like before and after, and you'll see why they took so much material. They're pretty bad. Brand new towel, nothing on it, and look, you can see already how clean everything comes out. Just from using a brand new towel. Like all these little smears and stuff, they're just gone. You know, you might get a couple little small ones here and there as you work your way. As you work your way towards the end, you might get a couple small ones. But see these little swipe marks? Like, you don't want that left behind. That's an uneven surface. And it can cause a chemical reaction in the paint. And then you'll be like, why is the spider cracking? So, there's that. Put that down in your fender. Look, the residue. All of that residue is gone. So, wipe down the front. Front, back, side to side. Take her towel, flip her over. See that residue? And then no residue. So, and yes, I scuffed this entire panel with 600, like both of them. So, it's got something to stick to. Gotta make sure it's got something to stick to. See that little residue? Hang on. Residue, all that right there. Clean towel, residue gone. So, little gaps. Yeah, that's it. Let that air dry, put the fans on it. Oh, see, I missed a spot. See, this is the nice thing about, taking the right procedures, because I wiped everything up here. See, no residue, no residue, no residue. Well, I got residue here because I missed it. And now I know I didn't wipe this spot before. If I use that same towel, long story short, you would have saw, well, I would have never known if I wiped it or not. So, I would have never known. I would have just assumed that I wiped it. And you already know what happens when you assume. But in this level of assumption, it just makes the ass out of yourself. So, all right. To be honest, like, this has to be my last rendition. So fingers crossed we don't have any weird paint chemical reactions. We're gonna let this air dry, and then I'm going to spray from the first can to cover my sealer. Spray one coat or two coats over this fender, and just to get an even surface, and then we'll open up the second can, spray it, because that'll be our final color. We might put two coats on it. I'm using a 1.3 tip on the spray, super fine mist, something that you would normally use for clear, because I don't want to use a 1.7, which puts out way more fluid and have like a ton of buildup. This thing's already got enough buildup on it. But you get to these older vehicles, it's kind of what it takes. So it takes this many laps to get a panel presentable, you know. So all right, so I'm gonna nick it here, and yeah, I'm gonna start spraying finally. So right now I'm spraying the sealer, and I'm using the first can of paint. This is not the final spray. So right now I'm covering up all of the spots that have sealer on them, because if you don't and you just start painting the panel, you'll have these light spots or dark spots, like shadows, left behind. And it doesn't matter how many times you cover it. You can cover this thing 100 times. If you just start spraying over and over and over and over, you'll have a dark or light spot where that sealer was. So just to make everything even, you want to spray the sealer first, then bleed off or fade or blend or whatever, just a little bit on the edges, so you don't have that hard shadowed line, because it's not going to be exactly the same. But just to bring the sealered areas up to speed with the rest of the panel, spray the sealered areas first. So that's what I'm doing here. Like I said before, I'm using the first coat, or first can, to just make everything somewhat even. So I'm going to open up the second can of paint here soon, and that'll be the final coat. Like I said, this paint is not cheap by any means, and I don't want to waste any more material on these fenders. I know there's little spots here and there on them still. You can leave a comment. I know they're there. It's just that I've spent way too long on these hips. Like, these hips were so bad, so far gone. But you don't know until you start working on it that, how bad they really are. So right now, this spray gun, honestly, I'm not digging it. I've had it for about a month. I've used it on some other stuff and like some smaller projects, and it came out okay. But I'm not liking the fact that I can't open my fan up bigger. But I do like it for stuff like this. This is the reason why I'm using it. It targets the area. You can see how small the spray pattern is, and I have it opened all the way up. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I do like it for that purpose of just like, targeting areas. It doesn't, spray a huge fan on it. I've tried to open it up. I've taken it apart, I put it back together, and it's just what it is. So it has a twin gun. It doesn't do that, but this one in particular, it actually does, and it's kind of annoying, but I like to use it for hitting spots that I have to go back over. And this light comes to be a problem here fairly soon. You'll see. I'm going to switch spray guns and move over to a different one. You see, I'm constantly adjusting the spray for the fan, and it's just not getting any bigger. But you'll see that the light that I'm using on this gun, it's not fairly new, but it's new-ish. I have a gun bud, if you're familiar with the gun bud. It straps around the top of the can. This one straps around the nozzle. And I transferred the light that I was using on the previous gun to this gun. Now, a lot of people are going to hate on this particular gun, but I love it. Like, this is a Black Widow. I've had it for probably about 4 or 5 years, and they just perform. That's just what they do. And when something goes wrong, 9 times out of 10, it's something that you did, not the gun. So, as you can see here, I start spraying the clear, and I transferred that light just because I like it, because it's brighter than the gun butt. But the way it sits on the gun, it interferes with the spray pattern, because this gun particularly will spray a lot. I'm using a 1.7 here. It's putting out a bunch of material. It's covering really good, and as you can see, this is from the second can. So you can see the color shift. So it goes from like a darker bluish purple really quick from the other color, and you can see it's putting out a ton of material real fast, so you gotta go quick. But when this stuff dries, it dries to like a royal blue, like a Kansas City style royal blue, or like I'm probably saying the wrong color, but it's blue, but it looks purple in some angles, but when the light hits it, it's blue, and it's got a lot of metallic flake in it. So, long story short, I'm spraying more color here, and when I get to the clear coat is when I notice that this light is interfering with my spray pattern. So it's not giving me any issues right now spraying the color. That went on pretty good, but the light is kind of interfering with the spray pattern, and it won't show up on the actual paint itself, but it does interfere with the clear, and you'll see here in a minute, once I get to it, that what I'm talking about. But I like the light. I just wish it had a better attachment. I'm probably gonna rig something up, maybe find some type of different strap or something, because it's a magnetic clip-on that goes on to it's a little bracket. But I love the light itself because it puts out a ton of light and you can see what you're seeing, and it's natural light. So basically what you're spraying is what you're going to see when it hits the sun, so you don't have any tiger stripes. So that's why I love the light, but like I said, the mounting on it, it sucks. It is what it is on it. It's an Amazon thing, but had great reviews, and can't win them all. But like I said, it's helping me with the seeing that I don't have any tiger stripes and stuff like that. Here, I'm spraying clear. I think I am spraying clear here. I'm adjusting the gun, turning down the pressure. Yeah, it's clear coat. So, blasting the clear. Clear's going on great. This is my other Black Widow. Like I said, man, I just love these Black Widow guns. And if you mess up, you see right there, I'm like, what is that? And it dripped right off the front of it. And I didn't see it. I'm just showing y'all now, but I didn't see it when I started spraying. I thought it was like something weird going on because the gun started sputtering. So you see that little dot on top of the fender? It shot out a big spitball of clear, a couple of them. And I'm like, man, there's something going on with this gun. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, I cleaned it really, really good. And I'm like, no, something's not right. And that's what I noticed. It was the light. The light was hitting it. So I just held the light in my hand and I just started spraying. And everything was good. So those two dots that are on top of the fender, they'll melt in. And they did melt in pretty good. So they'll clear up with a little bit of wet sand if there's any like residual dots or something like that. But it didn't have any foamy bubbles in it, which is good, because if you get the air pockets and stuff like that, it'll stay in there and it'll ruin your clear coat. So thankfully we didn't have that. So as you can see, I switched over to the Gun Bud light. So this is the OG light. These things are they're not expensive, but they're pretty pricey for a little light that straps around your gun. But they work. They work great. It's not as bright as the one I was using before, as you can tell, but it does put out natural light. It will shoot out it's got different modes on it, so it's got high intensity LED with natural sunlight to go with it. It's really good for clear coat. Not so good for color, that I've learned over the years of having it, but it's been pretty reliable. But it stays up and out of the way of your spray pattern. And here, I'm blasting on the top. I've already done my tacky coat. So right now I'm filling in the area where we had those drips. Everything melted together really good, so I didn't have any issues with, a big clear coat drip on top of everything. So like I said, this Black Widow, it will save you because it just sprays so good. You get a good gun. It didn't have to be a stupid expensive gun. Like this one's like $200. So you get two of them. You get a 1.3 and a 1.7. I mean, you're in for $400. You got two really good spray guns. This is the first generation Black Widow. I had the second generation. I didn't like it, so I just stuck with my first gen spray guns. You don't need a $600 paint gun to do a really nice job, so, but once you start getting into like, $150, $200 range, you'll see the quality of your paint jobs go way up. So this one, like I said, I've had $400 or $500 guns, and this one just crushes it. Like these Black Widow guns, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but if you've been thinking about buying one, I don't know about the current generation too much. Like I said, I had it before, and just compared to the first generation, it's a night and day difference. So I feel like they cheaped out on some things on the second generation version of it, but like I love the ones that I have. I'm glad I bought them when I did. They're super beefy. They got a great coating on them. You can leave paint thinner in them. It doesn't eat up seals or anything like that. So, the proof is in the pudding. Just look how those things spraying out. So, other than that, panel's coming out great. This is the panel where the clear coat fell on top of it, came spraying out because it was hitting the other light, and you know, came out really good. So using my phone here, I don't want to get too close with anything, but you can see how this thing pops. And now you can see why this color is not a cheap color. This thing has a ton of metallic in it. We don't have any tiger stripes, nothing crazy going on. And like, this is straight out of the gun. We haven't even wet sanded this thing. You know, this stuff is still wet. I just sprayed it. So this truck's gonna pop. It's gonna hit hard. I'll keep making these videos for y'all if y'all give me a little like and subscribe, comment if you want. But you know, other than that, I really don't see the point in continue making them if, you know, I don't really get any feedback. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. It's been a lot of work. I still got a lot of work to go. A lot more episodes of this truck to come. Hopefully not too many more. You know, I really want to be finished with this thing. But really hoping y'all are enjoying the content. So if you can, it's free. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Which is a normal screw.